Right, okay, this slide is Cómo se dice en inglés, so how do you say it in English? So I'm going to bring up lots of different opinions, and what I would like you to do is see how many of these opinions you already know. So these opinions are all in green, they all go under the smiley face. So you've got me gusta mucho, me encanta, me chifla, and me flipa. So I reckon you should know the top three of those. So write down all of those, please, and then see if you can work them out. Okay, your next side, these are sort of in between a like and a dislike. So you've got me gusta bastante, me da igual. And then your last column, you've got no me gusta nada, no aguanto, no soporto, detesto, and odio. So what I'd like you to do is, for the ones that you don't know, I would like you to do your own little bit of research. Could you go on wordreference.com? Could you see if you could work them out? Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll have a look at the answers PowerPoint at the end of the lesson. You can mark your work. But basically, if you've got something that's under the smiley face, you know that the opinion's got to be positive. If you've got something under the middle column, you know it's got to be sort of an in-between opinion. You know what bastante means. It's an intensifier we've used quite a bit. So me gusta bastante. If bastante means quite, what would you think that phrase would mean? And then no aguanto, no soporto. They are a little bit more challenging. So I can't stand. Okay. So you might say no aguanto mi casa. I can't stand my house. Mi chifla and mi flipa are very, very similar to me and Canta, so what would they both mean? Right, let's move on. Right, okay, your next slide, we are looking at opinions. So, me gusta la casa. ¿Cómo se dice me gusta en inglés? What does me gusta mean in English? Well, me gusta means I like. La casa, what does la mean? Okay, this is what's really important now. So this is sort of what we'll be working on for the rest of the lesson. So me gusta la casa, I like the house. So that would be singular because it's the house. You've only got one house on that sentence. If you look on the second one, it says me gustan los coches. Los coches are cars. And we know that that one's plural because coches has got an S on it, and we are swapping the L or the la to los. Can you identify what happens on the end of gusta? So on the second one, what do we have to put on the end of it? So to make it plural, we have to put an N on the end of gustan, and we need to make sure we have got los and coches with an S on the end, okay? Right, okay. If we want to give opinions, we need to make sure we know whether what we are giving an opinion on is masculine or feminine. So L is the for masculine, la is the for feminine. You've got los, which is masculine plural, and you've got las, which is feminine plural. And we can see when we've got the two plurals, we add the N on the end, okay? So like I've just said to you, me gusta el piso would be masculine. I like the house. Sorry, the flat. So me gusta el piso, I like the flat. You've got me gusta la casa. That would be feminine because casa ends with A. And you've got la, which is the feminine. Your next one, we have got me gustan los pisos. We've added the extra N on the end of gusta to tell us it's plural. We've got los, which is the masculine plural, and we've got pisos, which ends with an S, which tells us it is also plural. So there's more than one of it. So I like the flats. And we've got me gustan las casas, which is feminine plural because we've got the N on gustan, and we've got las, which is the plural and feminine, and we've got the S on the end of casas. Right, okay, your next slide, we've got correct the mistakes. I would like if you to all refer to the blue box. So if you're 7 upper 1, 7 upper 2, 7 upper 3, you complete all 6 sentences, and then I would like you to translate the corrected sentences to English. 7 upper 4, 7 upper 5, and 7M1 complete 1 to 5. 7M2, 7M3, and Foundation School complete 1 to 3. If you want to push above, feel free to complete the task above if you finished it, but just make sure you complete um, the intended instruction for your group. But like I say, if you want to challenge yourself, push above and complete more if you want to. Okay, so your first sentence, we've got no me gusta casa. I don't like house. So what is missing in that sentence? So I don't like house. Well, I think you need to think, right, it's either I don't like my house or I don't like the house. So for that one, you could put no me gusta la casa or no me gusta mi casa. Either one of those two would work. So you basically added in after gusta, mi, or la. You need to do the same for the other sentences. It is all to do with that previous slide we have just seen. And can I just draw your attention to yake on number 5? Yake is the same as porque. It means because. So write all the sentences down in your book, and then I would write the corrected sentence underneath. When we finish this lesson, I'd like you to look at the answers PowerPoint and mark your work in a different coloured pen, please. Right, okay, your next slide is match up the adjectives. So you've got 1 to 10 in Spanish on your left hand side, and you've got A to J on the other side in English. So I would like you to see how many you can get through. If you want to, challenge yourself, give yourself maybe 2 minutes to do it, see how quickly you can get them done. I would look out for cognates, so words that look similar in Spanish as they do in English. So for example, moderno, modern. That looks very similar. You can see this pattern. If you are struggling, I'd like you to use wordreference.com so you can work out any that you don't know. And like I've said again, at the end of the lesson, you can open up that answers PowerPoint and you can mark your work in a different coloured pen. Right, okay, this slide is all about linking in the adjectives now. So as you notice, your adjective in Spanish always goes after your noun. So it's something I actually picked up on your work from last week that a lot of you are still making the mistake. Vivo en bonito piso, which if you translate literally into English would be I live in a pretty flat. However, in Spanish you need to remember it would be I live in a flat pretty. Your adjective always goes after your noun, okay? And as you can notice, we have got our first sentence, which is un piso. It ends with O. We know it's got to be masculine, so we know bonito has to also end with an O, okay? Your second sentence, vivo en una casa bonita. Casa ends with A. You've got una, which is a or an feminine, so you know that bonita has to also end with an A. Your next sentence, your third and fourth sentence, you can see that grande doesn't change whether something is masculine or feminine. So you would still always use grande. It wouldn't swap to granda on the last one. It always stays as grande because it ends with an E. So you've got vivo en un piso grande, I live in a big flat. Vivo en una granja grande, I live in a big farmhouse. For these slides, you've got the start of your sentence, vivo en una casa. That top bit will change on the next few slides. So you've got two options for that one. You've got bonito or bonita. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to think out loud, think in your head, or shout out the answer to your computer screen as to what you think it is. So just remember, you've got una casa. Is that masculine or is it feminine? Right, okay, your correct answer for that one should have been bonita. Una is a or an feminine. Casa is also feminine, so you've got to use bonita, which ends with an a. Your next sentence, vivo en un piso. Which one would it be? Shout out the answer to the computer screen or write it down quickly. Right, okay, your correct answer would be Antigua because you have got un piso, which is masculine, so you need to use Antigua, which ends with an O. Your next sentence, vivo en una granja. So shout out the answer to the computer screen or whatever, or write it down. Your answer should have been moderna, vivo en una granja moderna, because granja is feminine, so your adjective has to end with an A. Right, okay, this one, remember we had a look at this one before. What did I say about grande? What doesn't happen? Okay, that's a little bit of a big clue for you. So you've got vivo en una casa. Which one would it be? Grande or granja or granda? Think about that one. Shout it out at your computer screen or whatever. You've got 1 minute. And your answer should have been grande, as it doesn't change. Right, okay, so we've had a look at putting an adjective after whatever we've been describing. So, for example, me gusta el piso bonito. So that would be, I like the pretty flat. However, if we want to say, I like the flat because it is pretty, these are how you structure the sentences. So you've got the first one, me gusta el piso porque es bonito. That would be your sentence is masculine. So because you've got el piso, after porque es, you need to use bonito, which ends with an O. Okay. For your second one, we've got no me gusta la casa porque es fea. Again, that's a feminine sentence because you've got la casa, and after your porque es, you've used fea and not feo. Okay. Your next one is masculine and plural because you are talking about more than one flat. So los pisos, the flats. So you can't use gusta, you've got to use gustan with an N at the end. We saw that earlier. And the difference is when we are using an adjective, we have to put an S on the end. So we've got los pisos bonitos. If you notice there is something different though, we're not using S. What are we using instead of S? We are using son. So son means they are. So if I translate the full sentence, it would be me gustan los pisos porque son bonitos. I like the flats because they are pretty. So you've swapped S, it is, to son, which is they are, because it is a plural sentence. Okay, and your last one is exactly the same. However, it is just in feminine because you were talking about las casas, the houses, which is feminine and plural. So you could use feas and you would use son for they are. You cannot use s because it is plural. So if you just have a quick look at the yellow boxes at the bottom, I will probably make a note of that, write them down in your book so you've got them, as they will help you later. Right, on this slide you have got your blue box again with the options of what which to complete for which group. So 7 up 1, 7 up 2, 7 up 3, complete 1 to 7. 7 up 4, 7 up 5 and 7 and 1, complete 1 to 5. 7 2, 7 and 3 in foundation school, complete 1 to 3. If you want to, for example, if you're in 7 upper 4 and you complete 1 to 5 really quickly, push on to 6 and 7 and challenge yourself if you want. So, for example, on the first one, you'd write in your books, no me gusta la casa, and then underneath write the English, I don't like the house. Just be careful when you've got gustan, remember what that means. This is tying together basically everything that you've learnt so far. The only issue you might find is on number 6, yaque. Yaque is the same as porque. And La Casa de mi abuela is more challenging language, see if you can work it out. You know what abuela means, so if you say La Casa de mi abuela, what do you think that phrase would mean? And then you've also got más que structures in 6 and 7, which we have all covered So just think back to that. It's a comparative. It's comparing two things. So what does masque mean? On this one, it might be a good idea if you take a picture of your work, and then when you got to the end of the lesson, you can mark it in green pen or another colour pen, and then you could maybe take a picture of this and upload it to Show My Homework so I can see how you've got on. Right, okay, on this slide you've got a Beat the Teacher style essay, which is something that you've probably had a look at in class before. So basically your aim is to answer the three questions. ¿Dónde vives? Where do you live? ¿Dónde te gustaría vivir en el futuro? Where would you like to live in the future? And ¿Cómo es tu casa? What's your house like? So questions 1 and 2 you've seen in previous weeks since we started the new topic. And question 3 is your title for today's lesson. So everything that we've worked on, so all your opinions and your adjectives about houses or different types of houses. So basically your aim is to answer the three questions. I would maybe do number 1 as a separate paragraph, number 2 as a paragraph, and number 3 as a paragraph. These paragraphs might literally be 1 or 2 sentences long, but your aim is to try and include as much as you can from this table. So you've got in green your adjectives and your connectives. Those are the easier things to sort of add into your answer. And then it gets a little bit more challenging with your opinions and your sentence starters. And then it gets a little bit more challenging again with your higher level phrases and your tenses. So I think it would be beneficial to you to copy out this table and annotate it. So basically you've got the Spanish and then you write the English above it or next to it or whatever, because this is some really good vocab. So antiguo means old. Amplio means big or spacious. Desordenado would be unorganized or messy. Tranquilo is quiet or calm. Dado que is very similar to porque, so it means because or given that. Además means furthermore. Ya que means the same as porque, so again because. Sin embargo means however. And then if we go on to the opinion section, we've got me chifla, which is the same as me encanta, so I love. You've got me interesa, it interests me. You've got detesto, I hate. No soporto, I can't stand. And then if we look at sentence starters, you've got en el futuro, in the future. So that would then link really to your question 2. So en el futuro me gustaría vivir en España. In the future, I would like to live in Spain. You've then got desde mi punto de vista, from my point of view. Diría que, I would say that. So again, a really nice way of introducing like an opinion or a new phrase. You've got lo bueno es que, the good thing is that. You've got más que, which is a comparative, more than. Lo mejor, the best. Lo peor, the worst. Tan como, as. So you could say, mi casa es tan grande como un piso. My house is as big as a flat. And then your bottom section, you've got tenses. Me gustaría, I would like. Sería, it would be. So for example, you might say, me gustaría vivir en una casa grande. Sería moderna. So I would like to live in a big house. It would be modern. Then you've got vivía, I used to live. So en el pasado vivía en Japón. In the past, I used to live in Japan. And your last one is era, it was. So basically, you need to include as many of those as you can into your 3 questions. What I would do is I get 3 different colour pens. If you've got green, orange and red, that would be best. And then you can highlight when you've used the words. I expect you on this one to take a picture of your work and upload it onto Show My Homework, please. And make sure that you have completed all of this PowerPoint before you move on to the quiz. So the quiz I will only set in your second week. Have a good week, stay safe, and remember to upload your work to Show My Homework.